Ike for president, Ike for president. You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike. Farmer Mac knows what to do, election day of 52.
Taxes. Ah, relief at last.
But not for you, just for the few.
I say it is time to get up and to get moving again.
You want to be as sure as you can that you will all go on living together in our present happiness and prosperity.
Behind those lighted windows is a kind of man history only favors a nation with once in a long, long time.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
The truth is that we are ahead of the communists by every vital measure in military strength.
I was fighting for civil rights long before it became popular.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Take a walk in your street or park tonight. Why are more and more millions of Americans turning to Governor Wallace? Follow as your children are bused across town.
Do you want any country that doesn't have the bomb to be able to get it? You've got more money today for those little luxuries because Democrats worked hard to push through a higher minimum wage.
American youth today has its fringes, but that's part of the greatness of our country. I have great faith in American youth.
Military, economic, and diplomatic power been used so ineffectively as in Vietnam.
The purpose of the bill is to share federal money with states and localities so that property taxes can go down.
I think the economy has done very well under President Nixon.
I think President Nixon is terrific.
It's just possible. McGovern's straight. Maybe he can.
And those who don't want to work shouldn't be paid anything in the way of public support.
The most precious gift of all, we are at peace.
There's no reason why somebody should go broke just to get well.
Can you imagine any of the other candidates for president working in the hot August sun?
Our unique contribution will be to make part of the investment tax credit refundable in cash.
And I know that his positions are based on what he believes, not on where the votes are.
Answering the call of his party, Ronald Reagan was elected governor of California.
I think you've got it all wrong. Mondale thinks I'm paying too much, and he's right.
I think the American people want their president to stand up for the American economy.
It's morning again in America.
When his liberal experiment failed, Dukakis simply looked away. He also vetoed the death penalty bill.
The time is soon. The place is America.
And to start the war against poverty.
12 years he's battled the odds in one of America's poorest states.
I was born in a little town called Hope, Arkansas, 3 months after my father died.
What would they say to us if they knew that we are making them the first generation of Americans with a standard of living below the generation before them?
And my agenda strengthens small businesses that create 2 of every 3 jobs.
My job as president is to take care of the American people, and I have done my best.
He passed and signed a tough law to ban deadly assault weapons.
The spirit of America.
Plan is all about. The Dole plan starts with a 15% tax cut for working Americans.
If you had to do over again, would you inhale?
Sure, if I could. I tried before.
We have to take our country back from the special interests.
Don't waste your vote in '96. Just vote for Ross.
He will conduct national voter referendums so the people can approve or reject. It's your tax dollar.
This is one of America's most precious resources, part of our heritage.
He's taken on the worst polluters in America and become a leading voice for clean air, clean water, and the environment.
We want every child to be able to access the greatness of America, and it starts with teaching every child to read.
You trust government? I trust you. I trust you to invest some of your own Social Security money for higher returns.
Declare an end to Bush's go-it-alone foreign policy. Roll back the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy to invest in health care and education.
And the election will be in your hands. If you believe we need a fresh start in Iraq.
And the nonpartisan National Journal magazine ranks Kerry the most liberal member of the Senate. Kerry voted for the Iraq War, opposed it, supported it,
and now opposes it again.
In 1972, there were 40 democracies in the world. Today, 120.
Keep that faith. Keep your courage. Stick together.
I believe that climate change is real.
It's not just a greenhouse gas issue. It's a national security issue.
This election isn't going to be about changing parties.
Something's happening in America, in small towns and big cities.
2008, an economic meltdown.
Worst financial collapse since the Great Depression.
President Obama is attacking Mitt Romney because Mitt Romney supports coal miners. But he says he's only had 4 years. That's all Mitt Romney needed.
The politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism.
As Secretary of State, now she wants to be president.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. She's a slob.
Our children and grandchildren will look back at this time.
There is only one America. No Democratic rivers.
We're a nation that's been hit hard by this virus.
America demanded change.
Donald Trump wins the presidency.
And change is what we got.
On January 6th, Donald Trump lit a fire in this country.
So they've shot themselves in the foot, like you said, Joe. Like, they honestly have...
Remember the day that he suggested that we shoot people on the streets.
There's not much left at the end of the month.
Bidenomics is working.
Like us, China also saw their weakness.
According to legal scholar John Chatuk, political advertising is as much a part of American culture as apple pie. I made most of this video about a year ago in time for the elections in the US, but I finished just after the elections with more of the collection, so I decided I was going to wait another 4 years. But that seems silly, so I'm just finishing this video up now since I already have it mostly done. Anyway, I was curious to see how ads changed over the generations, over the years. I didn't feel like I was able to evaluate that as well as I expected because I only had access to some advertisements and things, but it was still interesting to look at. Now, allegedly, political advertising was more peaceful until television ads. Now, if you're curious, what did they do before television ads? So they had newspapers, eventually they had radio, there's phone calls. Now, today they do text messages as well. That's been going on for a little bit. More recently, obviously, now we've moved to social media. Very different game. Now, 1952 was the first year that candidates were using television ads, so that's why I started in 1952. The youngest members voting in this election were from the silent generation, and then obviously the older generations would have also been voting in this election, so the greatest, lost, etc. And so those are people who would have experienced more of this transition, honestly, a lot of transition in political advertising. So if you know one, ask them about it. Probably people 90 and over. That could be interesting, unless you don't want to bring that up. From what I've read, the 1960 election of Kennedy versus Nixon is when the television ads became more significant. Today around election time, there's always talk about how things are different, and I would say that's true in terms of like social media and stuff, but often it's said in regards to attacking and things like that. But it seems like that's always been going on, or it's been going on for a long time, because even before television advertisements, which there's been some where they attack the opponent in some way, going back basically as long as we've been doing them, certainly already in the 1961. But there also were political cartoons where the opponent was satirized or made unflattering, etc. It is very difficult to get a gauge on how much the attacking, so to speak, has increased, because I would need to look at basically every advertisement and how much they have been run and so on, which I was not doing this time. But those political cartoons date back to the 18th and 19th centuries, so basically since the beginning. I will say perhaps there is more misinformation spread today, although it would have been very easy to do back before, particularly before television advertising. I just think social media makes it a little easier. What seems to be the most famous political ad is Lyndon Johnson's Daisy, where a little girl is counting. She's counting up to 10, and then a man is counting back, and then they zoom into the girl's eye, and then there's a nuclear explosion. This was considered to be a pretty controversial ad, and they even took it off the air. It continued to be analyzed by different outlets and things. So people were still seeing it, and ultimately Johnson won the election by a lot against Goldwater. Now, debates, in this time, just like political advertisement, changed from radio to TV, and that made a big difference overall. And it's actually hard to measure exactly how big that difference was. But one thing that is famously talked about is the Kennedy-Nixon debate, where many radio listeners of the debate believed that Nixon won, but those who had watched the debate on TV felt that Kennedy won. And a lot of that is thought to come down to how they appeared. And so previously, people may have known what the candidates looked like, sometimes not, but they could have had posters. That was another form of advertising. There's also mail. And so people might have seen, actually a funny example I saw was there was a poster, like a chart somewhere of Lincoln, and an 11-year-old girl wrote to him and told him that he would look better with a beard. So he grew one, and then he just kept one. But anyways, something about the movement and the way, like how charismatic a person appears, and if they appear like healthier, etc., could impact opinions. So I think that would apply to political advertisements as well. Overall, when you just look at the TV advertisements, you can tell to a degree the rough time period. But other than that, I don't think the changes were quite as drastic. If you think differently, feel free to comment below. I mean, there definitely are some, but this actually is not a huge sampling, and I do just have short clips. I was a little worried if I did the whole advertisements, that wouldn't be considered fair use or something. So if you want to see the full ones, search them. Feel free to look at more. And I'd also like you to comment down below which one's your favorite. If I did give more ad time to one candidate or another, that was not intentional. It was what I found at the time I started this. Obviously, I could talk more about this, but honestly, my other more political focused videos didn't do that well. So I'm just going to leave it at this. That's all. I will see you next time.